welcome to Sport on 5. As ever, an evening full of sporting action tonight. Coming up, we have golf, IRL from the Nashville Speedway, Global X Games and Major League Soccer.
Well, the busiest part of the season with 5 races in the next 6 weeks. One by one, these engines jump to life. There are 9 Toyotas, 6 Hondas, and 6 Chevrolets in the 21-car starting field. Tonight, live from Nashville Superspeedway in Nashville, Tennessee, it's the Firestone Indy 200, the 3rd and final night race of the season. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Lee alongside Larry Rice. And Larry, this young Scott Dixon continues his mastery of qualifying with his 3rd straight pole position. The Target Ganassi car, number 9, starting up in front one more day.
This young man has really set this league on its ear. He's come in here, taken over here since the Indianapolis 500 with his pole positions and his laps led. I mean, he has been terrific with over 500 laps led.
Well, a new track record in qualifying yesterday, his 4th pole of the season, his 3rd in a row, and you talked about leading as he pulls away. He has led 32% of all the laps this season.
Yeah, he's had 8 starts. 4 of those he's had on the pole, had 3 wins, and as you said, led 524 laps. And he, along with his teammate Thomas Scheckter, have led almost half the laps, over 800 laps between them.
Well, once again, he starts from the front row. He's won 3 times. He's had 4 pole positions. Elio Castroneves now 3rd in the point standings, looking for his first win in some 18 starts. In the 2nd row on the inside of Sharp qualifier this season is Tora Takagi, driving for Mo Nunn Racing. And there is Jill DeFerrin, the winner at Indianapolis back in May. Jill right now 4th in the point standings. Thomas Scheckter and the winner here last year, Alex Barron, who just picked up this ride this week, will be starting in row 3. In the 4th row on the inside, Brian Hurd, the winner just 2 weeks ago, and rookie Dan Weldon outside, driving for the Andretti Green Team. In the 5th row, it's Kenny Breck, and Tony Kanaan starts in 10th position, his worst starting position of the season. He leads the points. In the 6th row, it's Roger Yasukawa and a former IRL champion, Greg Ray, in the unlucky number 13. In row 7, it's the Kelly teammates, Al Unser Jr., Scott Sharp, both victorious earlier this season. In the 8th row on the inside, Vito Mira for John Menard and A.J. Foyt IV, perhaps one of the most famous racing names in all of America. In row 9 on the inside, it's Buddy Rice, powered by a Chevrolet, driving for the Cheever team. There is the most popular driver in the Indy Racing League, Sarah Fisher. Her teammate Robbie Buell starts inside row 10, and outside Sam Hornish, the 2-time defending series champion. And Buddy Rice, or Buddy Lazier, we should say, who won this race 2 years ago, starts alone in row 11. There is the point standings after 8 of the 16 races. Only 31 markers separating the first 2 and 32 between the first 3. So still, with half the season to go, 50 points up for grabs this evening for a victory, and 2 bonus points for leading the most laps. And guess who that always has been?
That's right. Race distance is 200 laps, 428 kilometers. Of course, Scott Dixon's on the pole. Alex Barron won here last year, between 48 and 52 laps for their pit stops. This is a 1.33 mile oval, 2.1 kilometers, banking of 14 degrees, but it's made out of concrete. It's a different surface, it's a little bumpy, and it's very different for these guys to drive on.
Well, there is the furl flag indicating 1 more lap before we turn them loose. A 200-lap event on board with Vito Mira. He'll be starting back in the 15th position, driving car number 2 for John Menard. You see now we go on board with Sam Hornish. Not a particularly good qualifying effort for Sam yesterday. He starts way at the back of the pack in that car number 4. There is Scott Sharp. He won earlier this year at Motegi in Japan. He'll be starting in 14th position. And there is a look from the pole position. There is that concrete racetrack. That is Scott Dixon's vantage point up behind the pace car. There is Tony Kanaan. Once again, his worst start of the year, back in 10th position. He leads the point standings. And there is Greg Ray, number 13. He'll be starting the 12th position, a former Indy Racing League seasonal champion. And there is Brian Herda, who is driving for the injured Dario Franchitti for the Andretti Green Team. He, of course, won 2 weeks ago at Kansas.
Al Spire will wave the green flag. He's the head of Firestone, who's sponsoring this event. And, of course, Nashville, one of the home base for Firestone.
And And there is the green flag. We are underway. This is a track that is very, very hard on tires. In fact, the tires may only go about 40 laps here this evening, so they can go a lot longer with fuel than they can on tires. Almost contact right away. And again, taking the lead is number 9, Scott Dixon.
Yes, and this is one of those racetracks where you're going to see everybody fall into line pretty quickly. It's not a racetrack where you're going to see a lot of side-by-side racing through the corners, because on the concrete, it just isn't conducive to running side-by-side. As I say that, though, look at the Penske cars almost went into turns 1 and 2 side-by-side.
Well, Scott Dixon has led 32% of all the laps contested this year, and he, along with his teammate Thomas Scheckter, combined have led an even 50%.
Gilles de Ferran very strong as he went very low and got around Castroneves. Castroneves got up in that second groove. When he got up there in that marble area, he had to slow down, and Tora Takagi also went by him.
Takagi now in the second position. They're showing de Ferran in second position.
Yeah, de Ferran got around Castroneves. When Castroneves got high, Takagi went around him too. So Alex Barron, he's moved up. He's running in 5th place. So those guys.
Dixon is your leader right now. De Ferran rides second, then Takagi.
Oh, already a crash.
Car in the wall already. That is
Robbie Buell.
Robbie Buell in the car number 24. So Buell brings out a quick yellow on lap 4.
Well, Brian Barnhart told everybody in the drivers' meeting that be careful if you get out of that groove up high. It's hard on the right side. You crash a lot of cars by slamming the right side. If you remember last year, A.J. Foyt lost 3 cars, and every one of them did exactly that. They just banged the right side and took the right side of the car off.
Well, there's the side pod cover.
Yeah, and it came off way back. He slid clear down the front straightaway as he hit the wall clear back between turns 3 and 4.
So once again, let's take a look. Well, he lost control, then kind of got hit by Scott Sharp. Scott Sharp did a heck of a job staying out of the fence, believe me, because you're right. Buell got sideways right beside him, really, and slid down in front of him. Scott Sharp was in contact with him up the racetrack, and those marbles up there, he's lucky it was early in the event, because later on he would not have been able to save that car. The longer they run, the more marbles get up there. You're riding with Scott Sharp.
Oh, Buell tried to go to the outside of him.
Oh, there is contact right there before Buell lost it. There was contact between Buell and Scott Sharp.
Buell was on the outside.
On-board camera.
Right. Buell tried to get to the bottom and just ran into Scott Sharp, really. Tora Takagi, I don't know what he was doing, but he messed everything up back there. He really stacked them up as he got way behind everybody else. And everybody had to get on the brakes, and he kind of just stacked everybody up. Look at Kanaan. He's on the outside. We'll see if that outside is going to work or not right now.
Well, the outside should work later in the race so they get more rubber up there, but he's going to make it work right now.
Yeah, he certainly did. He went right on around.
Well, he did not qualify at all well as you ride along now with Herta. Herta gets passed by Yasukawa.
Yeah, he got up on the high groove and didn't make it work quite so well, and he had to get out of the throttle. Ooh, you can see right there, he got way up. He started pushing the front end, had to get way out of the throttle right there coming off of turn number 2.
Kanaan's 10th starting position, the worst of the season. He's had 3 poles this year. He's had 2 second starting positions.
Jeez, what a surprise. Look at this. Sam Hornish on the outside passing cars.
Well, the word is that Sam, it was announced this afternoon that Sam will have that new Chevrolet power plant for his disposal next week at Michigan. 1 week from tomorrow, the Michigan 400. And in about 2 or 3 races, all the Chevy teams should have that new power plant.
Yes, they should have. Oh, look at that. That was very close there. Almost made contact as I believe that was de Ferran that just went into the lead. Takagi now, he's going to go to the outside of Dixon to try to get into second. He decides to drop back down to the bottom. Wow.
Second leader of the day. De Ferran takes the lead on lap 14.
That was a strong move. We talked about how strong he was when he ran around Castroneves, but he just went up and muscled by Dixon as they came through turns 1 and 2.
We'll have a chance to take a look at the replay of this pass for the lead.
down the front straightaway into turn one. Look how low he is. He's clear down in the dust on the inside.
Almost contact.
And Dixon knew he was there, barely gave him enough room. I think that was a case where Dixon's spotter was telling him all the way that he had to give him room, and luckily he did.
Well, Joe DeFerrin leads for the first time this evening. We talk about his teammate back there in the fourth position, Casper Evans. In his first 7 IRL races, he won 3 times. He now has not won in his last 18 outings.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's more aware of that. I didn't really realize it. I mean, he did so well here in the last couple of years, and he's finished second a lot, but it's been a while since he's actually seen victory lane.
With our coverage of the Firestone Indy 200 from Nashville Superspeedway and the home of country music, Nashville, Tennessee. Going by A.J. Foyt the fourth right now. There is...
Oh, look at this. You can see Dixon tried to get around DeFerrin just pretty much the same way DeFerrin got around him, but DeFerrin pretty much blocked him on the bottom of the racetrack.
They're shifting gears.
Yeah, well, it's very important to get off the corner. So what he did was once he got behind him and he had to get out of the throttle, he shifted the gears. He got more gears so he could get back up to maximum speed faster.
Just a half-second advantage now as you watch the pit crew go to work on Sarah Fisher's number 23. Oh, and that is Vito Mira in number 2. Probably for John Menard.
He's still got that thing, got the engine going. Not sure
He may not have a gearbox.
Yeah, he may not have because it's the engine's running. He's gassing. Oh no, he's still got it.
Oh, he almost hit
the truck.
He almost hit the safety truck. Oh, well, we've actually seen that occur before in open cockpit racing. Let's watch again, see if we determine what happens.
Mira's on the outside, Buddy Rice on the inside, and just a little contact. As they were going through the corner, he tried to come to the bottom of the racetrack. Didn't know Buddy Rice was there. Did a nice job actually keeping that thing under control, and only did a half spin all the way into the pit lane.
That was a good bit of driving.
That was
a good bit of driving.
Got that thing turned and got on the brakes and just kind of slid sideways, clear, well, halfway through that corner actually. We've run 32 laps, so I imagine you'll see a lot of these guys heading for the pit area. Pits are closed. That red flag with the yellow stripes, it means that the pits are closed, so nobody can pit right now.
Inside.
And here you can see.
Inside.
Well, they were telling him he was there.
Inside, yeah. He knew he was there from the spotter. Scott Sharp, our third race leader of the day. Dixon led the first 13 laps. DeFerrin took over for some 20. Scott Sharp on this pit stop sequence took the lead. Now let's see how DeFerrin and Kanaan can do with Sharp on this restart.
Wow.
Kanaan looks to the high side, but no room up there.
Yeah, he thought about that and thought better of it, tucked in behind Scott Sharp, but obviously he got a much better start. Oh, look at this. I don't know when they're going to enforce this no blocking rule, but we've seen that several times here so far. And look at Takagi. As DeFerrin got to the outside, Scott Sharp is kind of squeezing. He didn't know what to do. He was kind of caught in the middle. There wasn't anything he could do, and Takagi took advantage of it and went around on the inside. Now Sharp has moved way high, and Castroneves is going to get around him as well.
Yeah, some other guys are going to go by too. He's going quickly toward mid-pack to the back of the pack. So that car still is not handling the way he would like to have it handled.
No, that's Scott Dixon that also got around. So the first 5 cars, he's back to 6th spot already.
Kanaan is your leader. The second time he has, first time he has led our 4th different leader. Dixon, DeFerrin, Sharp, and now Kanaan takes command. Takagi is 2nd, DeFerrin 3rd, Castroneves 4th. Dixon now is 5th. Sharp has dropped to 6th.
Yeah, toward Takagi, very strong. We've talked about how good he's looked all year long, and Morris Nunn told us that he does really well in qualifying, but they missed the race setups. Well, it looks like they might have got that race setup much better this time. Ooh, and you saw right there.
Almost got together with
Yeah,
Sharp.
Barron got up there and got the little side, he got a little wiggly up there and pulled down.
Herta's going by Yasukawa for position. So Herta pulls up to 8th position. Sharp is back in 7th. Barron is 6th. You're riding now with Brian Herta. Well, I tell you, a few laps ago when we saw that move by Takagi, that was a hold your breath situation.
Yeah, it sure was. Herta looked pretty strong here, though, as he's made a couple of real nice moves down to the inside. But the whole thing is, you should see those guys protecting the bottom of the racetrack because they don't want anybody getting to the inside of them. Nobody wants to run in that outside line.
Well, you ride along with Brian Herta, who won just a couple of weeks ago, currently back in 8th position. As the sun sets over the state of Tennessee, we're at Nashville Superspeedway, riding along with 4th place, make that 5th place Sam Hornish, who has just logged in the fastest lap of the race, over 202.4 miles an hour.
And you can listen to the throttle control he has. He lifts out of the throttle just a little bit coming off the corner, but pretty much he's flat out. And that's not an easy thing to do at this particular racetrack.
Well, we saw in that onboard telemetry earlier when he was getting 4.4 Gs that he was 100% throttle all the way around.
There you can see he had the fastest lap last time around again, back there in 5th spot. So if he could pull off a real good pit stop and get ahead of these guys through some good pit stops, he could easily win this race, even though he's 50 horsepower underpowered.
And keep in mind that this is the first race without his longtime crew chief in Kevin Blanche. The Rocket Man left the team after Kansas, and he's now a tech man with the Indy Racing League.
Well, this team is a well-prepared, well-thought-out team. They're deeper than one guy. He was a very important cog in the wheel, and he was the main guy who in the pit area on their right front.
Rice is in the pits now. The engine is off. That is a Team Cheever Red Bull stable, and that's one of those Chevy power plants.
Yes, it is. Buddy Lazier lost an engine. He's the only guy I know of that lost an engine in practice earlier this week. Lazier had some electrical problems, but this is the first engine of the race that we're aware of that's gone bad.
Back there, the best racing on the racetrack right now is back there in 4th and 5th position with Brian Herta and Hornish.
He went around A.J. Foyt, but it was kind of a tight squeeze. Foyt was trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack. Look at this.
2 laps off the pace. He has
got to run.
Back stretch into 3, and he motors on by. Herta was wise enough to breathe that throttle just a bit and let him go on by.
Yeah, his spotter says he's there, bottom, low, 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 and he just got out of the throttle and let him go, so he gains one more spot. And that was made possible because he got run on him through the traffic. Herta got out of the throttle just a little bit as they went around Foyt, and Hornish just sucked it up and didn't get out of the throttle and got a run on him.
Hornish has had a couple of top 5s so far this season. Right now, this could be his best opportunity for a podium finish.
And I quite honestly didn't think he had a prayer coming into this race. I thought
this would not be the racetrack.
No, I thought once they left Richmond, his days were pretty much over. But he's proved us wrong. He ran well 2 weeks ago. He's running extremely well here. So I think they've obviously done a little work on the engine. It's running a little better. But when they get that new Chevrolet here next week, he definitely will be a factor.
Well, there is Barron right behind Takagi. So you have 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right together on the racetrack. And look at the closing speed.
He just gets through. He's really making all of his speed. He's getting such a good run through the corner and off of the corner that it carries him down the straightaway. Even though the horsepower in there, the momentum carries him pretty much down the straightaway. Here, he got out of the throttle early.
Blocking right there.
Well, no, but he got out of the throttle early, maybe a little bit, but he got out of the throttle early to try to get back in the throttle. Now then you see what's going to happen here. Oh!
Big contact. It looked like there was contact there, Larry.
Wow. Barron.
That was a gutsy move.
Yes, that was all guts. He pulled down
that was youth.
That was youth and exuberance and all that other stuff. And he just, because Barron came down and just realized at the very last instance. We talked a little earlier about these mirrors. These mirrors are 50 millimeters by 150 millimeters. They're very small, 2 inches by 6 inches. The drivers can't see out of them very well, so they rely about 80% on their spotters. And luckily the spotters have done a great job here tonight.
Well, they've gone 57 laps since these leaders
Hornish just turned a lap at over 203 miles an hour, 203.121 miles an hour. That's the second quickest time is almost a mile an hour slower than he is.
Right now he's in third position, laboring almost 2 seconds behind your leader. Tony Kanaan continues to lead. He's led since lap 42. We approach the halfway point. 93 laps are now complete. You're right with Hornish back in third position, and he is in fact closing in on Takagi as well as your leader Kanaan. We've had 4 different leaders today. Dixon, DeFerrin, Sharp led for 6 laps during some pit stops, and then Tony Kanaan took over on lap 42.
And the racetrack isn't fast, getting faster the longer we run. The more the rubber gets down, the faster it is getting. So he's not the only, although he turned the first 203 mile an hour lap. Now Barron also has a lap at over 203 miles an hour.
Now they're getting some good rubber down this racetrack. There is a look at the gap between first and second. Kanaan, the green and white number 11. There's Toru Takagi in that maroon and white Pioneer car.
Takagi has a little bit different entrance. He enters the corner a little bit higher than most of these guys. Now that time he didn't. That time he went in low, but going into turn 1, it looks like he
look at Hornish. Look at Hornish.
Look how fast he gained on him.
Second. Now Takagi has to be told by his spotter that Hornish is there, and he goes on by. Hornish is up to second, and he's hauling in the leader.
He is just so fast through the corners. I mean, he's making these guys look like they're screwed to the racetrack.
Look at this, and Hornish, the first time this year that a Chevy has led. Lap 97, Hornish, and its place is going wild.
He passed first and second in about a half a lap. Took by both of them.
This place has all 50,000 fans on their feet right now. There's Vito Mira. He's a lap off the pace. And Hornish has the lead for the first time this season. A Chevrolet leads for the first time this season.
Now the bad
live coverage, you're looking at the leader. A Chevrolet power plant leads for the first time this season. Look at this replay. He goes by. There's the pass for second. Keeps his foot in it, and as you say, in 1 lap, he goes from third to first. There's your leader, Kanaan. This is on lap 97, and he just scoots on by.
Wow, that's just unbelievable. Uh-oh. He got very, very high right there. They've run 65 laps since their last pit stop. The tires have got to be getting old. They got to be getting slick. I think that's what the reason Hornish was able to go around these guys. They're all slowing up a little bit, and he's gaining speed, but they're all going to have to make a pit stop before much longer. Now here, Kanaan's already in.
Kanaan, long-time leader. He led from lap 42 to 96. He makes a pit stop under green. Now, as long as he has everybody else stopping under green, he's okay. If a yellow should come out, he's in trouble.
And here comes Hornish. Yeah, I can tell when he got very high that last time, his tires are almost gone. He's going to have to come into pits. He's heading that way. So, you know, what a tremendous drive he put on for the last 15 or 20 laps. So, one of the best jobs of driving I've ever seen in any kind of racing. He really put on a clinic.
Well, as the Pennzoil Panther team goes to work, we have our 6th different leader, Toru Takagi. Toru Takagi takes the lead on lap 101. This is becoming a very interesting race here.
Yes, very interesting. Now then, these guys are out of sequence, so there's going to be 2 different pit sequence laps. Toru Takagi still has not stopped. Here, Barron's
gone 68 laps.
Oh, Takagi's heading in. So Barron's going to get a lead this lap.
Barron will become our 7th different leader. Oh, and wait a minute, they're showing Herta as the leader now.
Herta's in front of, got around Barron during that.
Herta now is our 7th different leader. Oh, wow. And here comes Takagi.
Herta and Barron are both going to have to stop.
They've gone 69 laps now. That was unheard of.
That's way more laps than I thought they could run on a set of tires.
And that would give the lead back to Dixon.
Takagi's, this is one of his best runs of the year too. He's done a tremendous job out there. Herta still on the racetrack after 70 laps as Barron
Comes
goes
Barron.
for the pits.
Barron comes back to the attention of the Mo Nunn team. Herta stays out. When he makes his pit stop, Dixon then will go to the point with Castro-Nevitz, DeFerrin, then Alonso Jr., then Schechter. Well, you can't turn away from the television screen because things are happening too quickly this evening.
Wow.
So how long will Michael Andretti and Ken Green leave Brian Herta on the racetrack? He's gone 72 laps since his last stop.
Well, they don't want to leave him out till he runs out of fuel, that's for sure. That would be a huge mistake at this point. But they're hoping for that yellow. They want it to come out, and so far, they've been able to hang on and run. They must be getting great fuel mileage with that thing. They got to be getting over 2.5 miles a gallon to run this many laps.
We've gone now past the halfway point.
Here he comes.
7 laps are complete.
Here he comes in, I think.
He peels off the racetrack. That will allow Scott Dixon to resume the lead. So on lap 108, Scott Dixon leads for the second time here this afternoon. We've had 7 different leaders. Dixon led the first 13 circuits before Farron went blowing by him. A totally open pit road for Brian Herta, who won the last outing. So this team has won a couple of times this season with Herta and with Tony Kanaan.
The pit strategy is all going to depend. I mean, the outcome is all going to depend on how the yellows fall, because with 2 different pit strategies, it's still anybody's race to win. Hornish, Takagi, Kanaan, Barron, all those guys fell a lap down when they made their pit stops. But with a yellow, if it happens right away, they could be right up front again, because everybody else will be coming in.
After his stop, he's back there in some 13th position now. And now you take Dixon, Castro-Nevitz, DeFerrin, the top 3. They've all gone 50 laps since their last stop.
Uh-oh, we got a crash.
Mira brings out a yellow for a second time this evening.
And you can see he had his hands off of the wheel. Once he got up towards that wall, he pulled his hands off the wheel so he didn't break his wrist when that wheel jerked, which is a very smart move for him. Once you know it's too late, you might as well get your hands off. He's very upset with himself, as you see.
He had some good rides last year with John Menard. It just simply does not have that horsepower he had last year with this Chevrolet power plant.
Yeah, and once again, the pancake of the right side of the car. Let's see if he just got up in the marbles. Got a little too high. Oh, yep. Up too high. Got up too high. Couldn't keep it. Once you get up there, you can't turn the car down. You get in those marbles, the car just absolutely will not turn. See all those little black things down there? Let's take a ride with him.
On board.
Oh, he was given room on the bottom side. He just moved up.
Just gave too much room.
Yep.
You see how he's riding it out. As you indicated before, he got his hands off the steering wheel.
Yep.
Too often, people, even in passenger cars, when they see something's going to happen, they tense up with their hand on the wheel, and it's a great way to break your wrist.
Exactly.
You got Scott Dixon right there in second, and Schechter third on this restart.
Well, Alonso Jr. has had kind of a history of not being strong at the first half of the race, but as the race goes along, he gets stronger and stronger. So we'll
not being a real strong qualifier, but a strong racer.
Right. He just slowly works his way to the front, and we'll find out very shortly if he can hang on to it. Look at Dixon. He got a great run on him.
See, again, we talked about it's very difficult to see the end of the racetrack to the edge of the wall as you run the corner. Oh, look, he pulls down. Dixon stayed up, but it was very difficult to see from the edge of the track up to that concrete retaining wall.
I think.
Well, it looks like maybe a flat tire on number 13, which is Greg Ray. So Greg heads back to the pit area. Well, apparently we've had some contact. Greg Ray may have made contact with somebody else out there on that restart.
Now it's a tough break for him as he heads in. He had a pretty good run going here today, but right now looks like his chances of any good finish is out.
And the yellow is back out.
Oh, Herta.
Herta's in the pits.
Maybe Herta was behind him, so maybe he made contact with Greg Ray. So maybe that's why he's back in the pit area.
Well, there apparently was some contact.
Oh,
There's
fire!
on Greg Ray's car. There's a fire on Greg. They're trying to get him out as they're spraying water and foam. There goes the water into the cockpit. And they're still struggling with everything that's connected to the helmet, all the communications lines, and he's finally out. He appears to be okay.
Well, fire is a very scary thing in these cars. You saw how long it took him to get out of that car, and it's never a good thing when you see that fire break out. And fire is very hard to see with that methanol, although we could see it there.
Well, he walks away to collect his thoughts with the camera right there with him, but hopefully we can have a replay of exactly what happened.
There you can see the
right
fire.
around his helmet. It's right around his helmet.
Yeah, he can feel it. He can feel that on the back of his head. He throws the helmet out there, and then it plays up pretty good. And they're throwing all the water right on him. They're trying to keep him from getting burned.
So they'll get the green flag the next time they come by. A restart on lap 134. So a restart on lap 135.
Everybody ready to go the distance. That should be the last pit stop, unless we'll see what happens. But I think track position is going to be so important that you won't see anybody else making pit stops here today.
I'll tell you what, this racetrack is going to be an ice skating rink over the last 10, 15, 20 laps, because these tires are going to be shot.
Well, when I say that nobody else will be making pit stops, other than the first four, Unser, Lazier, Takagi, and Weldon are all going to have to stop. And Takagi did move into second place. He got around Weldon, so he moved into third place.
All those guys that made pit stops on this last yellows, you're right along with Harnish on the inside of Scott Sharp.
Scott Sharp thought about blocking him, tried to move to the bottom, couldn't quite do it.
We started to say, Larry, those that made pit stops are expecting those tires to last about 70 laps. And if we go 70 laps of green, those tires are going to be shot.
Well, but they could last. They can last that long, because we saw Herta earlier go 72 laps. So
what I'm saying is, during those 72 laps that he went, we had some yellow flags. If we go green the rest of this way, those cars are going to be skating.
Yeah, they're probably not going to be handling all that great. That's for sure.
Feel like a sprint car on a dirt track.
Yeah.
Well, Unser continues to lead, but again, Unser, Lazier, Takagi, and Weldon, the top four, will all have to stop before this race is over.
You can see everybody back there on the back straightaway pretty much running single file.
Bottoming out, too.
Yeah,
you saw the sparks come off Sam Hornish's car.
That was Sam Hornish who bottomed out. There you saw a little bit of sparks from Al Unser Jr.'s cars. He got a little squirrely. Takagi's going to lead this race. He's outrunning Al Unser Jr. He got through that last corner much better than Al Unser Jr. did. And I believe Al makes another little error like he made that last time. Bottoms out, gets a little squirrely. Takagi's going to lead this race.
Takagi has led the race for 2 laps earlier, back lap 101, 102.
Gets a little bit of a run there. Couldn't make any kind of a move, though.
Weldon back in third position, his best ride of the year for the rookie out of England.
Lazier's hanging on the fourth.
Now DeFerrin and Dixon have gotten around Lazier, so he quickly lost 2 positions.
Look at Takagi. He's going to, nope, got out of the throttle. You can see the front end move when he got out of the throttle right there.
Weldon closes.
But once you lift, once you get completely out of the throttle, it breaks your momentum, and it takes you a little while to get that momentum back up. It'll take him a couple of laps to get back up there and challenge for the lead with Al Unser Jr.
Kanan back in 13th position. The last driver on the lead lap is now 6.7 seconds behind this battle up in front. There's the gap between first and second. Now you're right with Dixon. Dixon back in the 5th position. Well, it looks like car 31. They're saying now that Unser will be stopping around lap 82 to lap 80.
Look at this. There goes Takagi.
Takagi takes the lead.
He got a big run. That time is they got caught behind the lap car of A.J. Foyt, and he got a big run on Al and went on by him. And
second time that he has led this evening. He led laps 101 to 103.
now the Takagi goes around Foyt, so toward Takagi, definitely his best run of the year as he's leading this thing, and has led it now, as you said, 2 different occasions.
First time he's led this season. He's led twice this evening with 8 different leaders. Dixon, Barrett, Sharp, Kanan, Hornish led for some 4 laps. Takagi and Unser. So we're setting up for a very, very interesting finish with the Japanese driver leading the first time this season. We have a new leader in Toru Takagi as he takes the lead from Al Unser Jr. And here is the pass for the lead as they're coming up to lap A.J. Foyt. And all Unser had to do was lift, just breathe a little bit, and Takagi was right on by him on the inside.
Spotters did a good job inside, you heard him say. So Al Jr. knew he was there and let him go.
Well, it's good racing, but he's going to have to stop. He's gone some 60 laps since his last pit stop. Al Unser Jr. has gone 49 laps, and we now have some 37 laps to go. So those two will have to stop for sure.
And
they're still saying from the Penske pit that the Farron can go the distance.
Yeah, I think the Farron and Dixon, I think all of those guys are going to stay out there. The guys who have made that pit stop under the last yellow. I don't think any of them will be coming in.
Well, race control has called to A.J. Foyt the 4th to let these other guys by, do not get in their way. He is out there. And remember, they black flags.
There's a run.
And there is Barron on the inside of Schechter. And that was for the 8th position. Earlier, they black flagged Sarah Fisher for being too slow. And right now, they apparently believe that A.J. is fast enough to stay out there, just to get out of the way.
Yeah, just give him a chance to run, just give him a chance to race, and that's what he's done. So those guys are running pretty good with each other. Schechter had to move over, though, and let Barron go.
Greg Ray is a lap off the pace after that, actually he's 4 laps off the pace after that fire in the pits. Back on the racetrack, about to be placed another lap down because that is your leader right behind Greg Ray, the number 13 trim spot car. Pioneer entry of Toru Takagi right behind him.
Takagi running about 198 miles an hour, and you can see Greg Ray right there. He just got out of the throttle and let him go. That was a very courteous move by him because he could have held Takagi up. He was fast enough to keep him behind him. No, that was Lazier. Yeah, who got out
Buddy
there?
Lazier riding in 11th position. If he didn't hit the wall, there wasn't much room to put an envelope in that wheel.
There was a lot of dust coming up out there wherever he was. Tony Kanaan looks to be as strong as he's looked really all race long. So he's really had a good run since this last green flag came out.
He's up behind Al Unser Jr. battling for 8th position, so he's had a strong run after this restart.
There's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Weldon, Castroneves, and Barron right together. It appears that Castroneves and Barron both gaining on Dan Weldon.
And the gap between 1st and 2nd now 0.8 of a second, so it opens up only slightly. Now some 15 laps to go.
Yeah, Barron is holding his own or gaining a little bit on Dixon right now. So Dixon's got his hands full trying to do anything to win this race. But I think Weldon is a little bit of a disadvantage. The reason these guys are gaining on him, he's probably running that thing on dead lean, probably not getting, you know,
very good fuel mileage. He's not concerned right now.
Yeah, he's going to have to get some good fuel mileage, so he's probably lifting a little bit.
Weldon's gone 73 laps, which means he has to go 86 laps at his last pit stop.
That's a lot of laps.
A lot of laps on the tires, a lot of laps on the fuel consumption.
There's a guy that's not worried, though. The leaders, he is hard on the hammer and pulling away. He ran the first segment of this race. You remember, he got out in the lead early, did a terrific job, and then they got on an off pit sequence, and was not amongst the leaders for a while, but still was very fast.
Jill DeFerrin, his only victory this season coming at Indianapolis, but that was the big one.
That's the one that pays all the money, big money.
There's your likeness on the four-corner trophy. Dixon still 7/10 of a second off the pace, so it's really DeFerrin's race to win or lose.
Right now,
8 different leaders today. DeFerrin led early on between laps 14 and 34, then resumed the lead at lap 172.
and
190 laps in, 10 laps to go.
DeFerrin and Dixon are the two fastest cars on the racetrack right now, running right at 201 miles an hour. So they are the two fastest race cars on the racetrack.
Cornish back to 11th position right now behind Takagi. Cornish led for the first time this season. Some 4 laps between 97 and 100. First time a Chevrolet has led. Eager to see what that Chevrolet, the new Chevrolet, can do next week at Michigan on the High Bank 2-mile racetrack in the Irish Hills of north of Jackson, Michigan.
Well, he ran a lap a couple of minutes ago at 203 miles an hour, so he's up and down. The last lap was only 194, so when he loses his momentum, when he catches those guys and can't make a pass and has to get out of the throttle, it slows him down almost 10 miles an hour, and it takes him a couple laps to get wound back up.
Back up in front, Jill DeFerrin, the Marlboro Team Penske entry number 6. Still has that 7/10 of a second lead over Scott Dixon, but for Scott in the point standings, consistency is going to help. He's won 3 times this year. Has picked up a lot of bonus points for leading the most laps. Did not lead the most laps here this evening.
Oh, we're going to spin. It's Buddy Lazier.
Buddy Lazier, who had some wall contact. He brushed the wall earlier. You saw that. And race control confirmed that. Will the green stay out?
It appears.
He pulls back up on the racetrack.
The yellow flag is out.
Yellow is out. Our 7th yellow of the day for the
Well, this is going to help Dan Weldon with 80 laps on that since his last pit stop. This may help him get to the end of the race.
Well, now this is going to make for about a 3-lap shootout. We're at lap 194 as the yellow comes out.
Yeah, this will be a quick yellow. They'll go out and inspect the racetrack pretty quickly.
So Buddy Lazier made some slight contact with the wall a few laps earlier. There's a look at the back of Roger Penske in the Team Marlboro pit area.
And he is on the radio with Jill DeFerrin. Jill DeFerrin is the guy that he talks to on the racetrack. And they're not even going to inspect the track. They're going to give him 1 lap to go and get this race back underway so they can finish it under green and give everybody a chance to do whatever they can to win this race.
So they will take the green flag on the restart as they complete lap 196, and that will give them 4 laps to figure this thing out. The pace car pulls off. Johnny Rutherford, 3-time Indianapolis 500 champion.
Look at the marbles up there at the top of the racetrack. You can see those little black pieces of rubber. This is DeFerrin's race to win or lose. Those 2 circles are where they have to accelerate. Between those 2 places on the racetrack, they must accelerate. And you see that Jill DeFerrin did exactly what he was supposed to do.
And this would be a gap that would look like it was very difficult to overtake. Castro Nevis got by Weldon on that restart.
Again, I think that's probably because Weldon's just...
tires are gone.
The tires are gone. The fuel mixture's on lean, so he's just trying to get as good a finish as he can, and he's not really going to fight anybody if they get a big run on him.
He's just going to try to finish this race.
That's right. He's had a lot of bad luck. He's had a lot of crashes. He wants just to have a good result.
And they're still dicing for position back in the pack. You saw Alonso Jr. right in the middle of that fracas down there. He's back in the 9th position after leading a number of laps.
And look at Sam Hornish. Is he going to try to go to the outside and run up there? Oh, yeah, but he decided that wasn't too for him. It just can't do the high line here on this concrete racetrack.
2 laps to go for Jill DeFerrin. He's back to the size of the lead he had when that yellow came out at just 7/10 of a second. So it's going to be Jill DeFerrin's 2nd win of the year. And a yellow. We've got somebody else in the wall. Is that Lazier again?
White flag is out. The yellow and the white. I don't think this was going to change the result, though. I think Gilles de Ferran was going to win this race. Scott Dixon did everything he could do, but he wasn't going to be able to get around Gilles de Ferran here tonight.
Gilles de Ferran, there is the team owner, Roger Penske. So his 1,002nd start produces a win, as will finish under yellow. The white flag came out with the yellow. Lazier brought out the last 2 yellows of the evening.
Well, this is a good run for Dixon, though, because Kanaan finishing back at 9th is going to gain a lot of points on him.
He's going to close the point standings, that's for sure, because he trailed by 31 coming in. Castroneves will take 3rd position. That will help his overall championship picture, because he was 32 back. Gilles de Ferran was 40 back. He picks up 50 for winning the race.
So the guys that finished 1, 2, and 3 were the guys who were 2, 3, and 4 in the point standings, and Kanaan is the big loser.
Well, Kanaan's weekend started poorly because he started back in the 10th position, the worst qualifying effort he's had all season. But Gilles de Ferran picks up his 2nd win of the year.
Well, the pit strategy by the captain, Roger Penske, certainly paid off. As you see the fireworks going off in the background. So Gilles de Ferran, he ran a great race. I mean, he had, you know, you've got to say he definitely won this race. Fireworks looking pretty good back there. They really looks like they spent a few bucks to get those things going. As here he comes down the pit area. We'll try to get a word with him before we get off of the air, but may not be able to.
Well, our congratulations to Gilles and to Roger Penske as they pick up the win here at Nashville. Of course, we'll take a look unofficially. De Ferran over Scott Dixon, Castroneves, Dan Weldon. Stayed out there, finished 3rd. Alex Barron and Kenny Breck soldiered home in 6th position. There's Tor Takagi, Al Unser Jr., Tony Kanaan came back to finish 9th. Thomas Scheckter 10th, and Sam Hornish 11th. Brian Herta was 12th. And we only had 11 drivers on the lead lap. As you take a look at the rest of the field, of course, 1 week from tomorrow, we will be at Michigan International Speedway on that 2-mile high bank racetrack. So I'm not sure. Does he know where Victory Lane is?
Well,
I'm not sure he knows where Victory Lane is.
He's been trying to do a burnout, but it just did absolutely too much traffic out there, too many people. He just couldn't get it pulled off. But he's a pretty happy guy, and he'll be doing some hooping and hollering. He did a great job. He certainly deserves to win this race.
The rest of the season, we'll have Michigan next week, then Madison, Illinois, Sparta, Kentucky, Nazareth, Joliet, Fontana, and we wrap it up at Fort Worth. Boy, this is going to be an interesting second half of this season.
It certainly is, as these guys head toward Victory Lane.
Well, this has been a presentation of ESPN in association with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Join us in 1 week from tomorrow for live coverage of the Michigan 400 from Michigan International Speedway. For Larry Rice, I'm Gary Lee. Thanks for joining us. Our congratulations to Roger Penske and Gilles de Ferran. So long from Nashville, Tennessee.